Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
You know Army.
Hey y'all, we're back. It's Sarah.
It's Mako.
Zoe.
And Buana.
And we are Worldwide Army TV. Today we are going to be talking all about
Dun,
the
dun, dun, dun.
new album announced for June 10th, 2022. We previously thought was called We Are Bulletproof, but is actually the long form of Proof.
Proof.
Because we just saw the teaser trailer, which is all they've really given us at this point.
They gave us something the other day also that says the best is yet to come, or more, something like that. It was kind of in the style of the most beautiful moments in life, and it was something to go along with Proof. But it was, I guess, that maybe the first single or something, or
We have no idea.
something like that.
But
what we do know is that along with it being a compilation, which that we didn't know at first,
an anthology
there will
album.
be 3 new songs on it. 3.
Which I'm confused about the song title list. Yeah, I didn't see any. At least I can't recall any names.
Wait, are you
that
referring
sound
to what
familiar.
Sarah put in the?
With the list of the names?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we don't
I
know that's official
we
either.
don't- yeah, I don't
I just
think-
sent it because it was
'cause,
interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
because me and Sarah were.
We couldn't find
We
it
questioned
anywhere.
it that day, and then we couldn't find anything official that day.
So that's also speculation. So for context, I had found a picture on Instagram that some Army account that I follow posted that claimed to be the set list for a Proof album. But we couldn't, find any sources for it. So we don't know if that's just speculation or not. That's all we can assume right now. What we do know is that Proof is supposed to be an anthology album. And like Juana said, there's supposed to be 3 new songs.
One with Snoop.
One with Snoop, and I think one with Ariana Grande, or was it not
And Nicki
confirmed yet?
Minaj.
And Nicki Minaj.
Well, no, I think you guys are referring to the list that you and I just talked about.
Okay.
Because it hasn't been official that the one with any that any of the 3 are collabs
Absolutely.
with anybody.
Well,
Official
definitely.
yet.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hoping it should be the one with Snoop.
Well,
I would
we
say
know Snoop
probably.
for sure.
Snoop is
Whether
probably
we've seen that or not, because Snoop said it and they said it,
Yeah.
so we know something's
So I
coming.
think that's the most verifiable, probably,
Yeah.
because of what they've both said.
But what is for sure, is that this is
you
a
can't
compilation
call it a new
of,
album. It's like not a new
Well,
album.
they've
It's
done
not
that
an
before. I mean, they did. So stop and think about it. They did Wings, and then they released Wings again, and it had maybe 2 or 3 new
Wasn't
songs
it
on
2
it.
Japanese songs?
But
No.
the difference is that they released Wings first.
Yeah.
They did.
Shoot.
Well, if that's the case, they did release all of these songs. All of these albums first. They released them first.
So there's a lot for
suppose.
us to go over. The first thing is I do feel disappointed because we were led to believe that we would
That
get
was gonna be a new
full-
album.
Yes.
The way they advertised it.
Yes, the way they
Jeez.
they really did lead us on. I can't even say that for me that is just an opinion. I feel like just factually they did lead us on.
do you think? I don't think they purposely did though.
I don't think they did it maliciously or anything, but I think that they did not
Carelessly. That's for sure.
think about whether they were portraying it as an entirely new album. Maybe they see it like that. But it's hard for me to believe that, considering how well they know Army.
Considering they had 2 years.
Yes, in 2 full years after we've been used to at least like 6 songs, at least 6 new songs on an album. They've released shorter albums before, but like we have followed this pattern, and then it got interrupted by this 2-year period. So why wouldn't we expect a completely new album at the end of this?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I really, really don't know. So when I found out that Proof was coming out, we were at family's house, and Buana pulled me off to the side, and she showed me. But that's when we thought it was Bulletproof, and I about died because I was so stoked. Like, I was excited. Like, I
We
was
were
thinking,
all
oh
very
my gosh,
excited.
they're going back to their roots. How long have we been saying go back to your roots? And so I was on cloud 500,000. And then only to find out it's a compilation album. We already got these songs. It's called Spotify. Like, I don't need you to put all the songs. Anyway, you're right. They've done this before. But you're right. I really do feel led on. Because in nowhere in those teasers, or even when they said Proof, did it say compilation.
Would we feel differently if they end up being remixes?
Hell yeah.
I think that I would feel maybe halfway differently. I would still be somewhat disappointed, but less so than I am now.
Let me tell y'all my opinion about remixes from our guys, especially songs that we find that are classic for armies. I don't like them. I don't remix. Well, what ain't broke? I don't. There's not one remix that.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one with Aoki. You didn't
like
that one?
That is an exception. But you know what? I've never looked at. I always forget that the Steve Aoki mic drop was a remix.
It's a remix.
I always forget that. Because honestly,
I would actually be happy if they put the Fire hip hop remix on there.
That one was good. I liked that one.
Or what was the other one they did during the one concert? They did Dionysus,
you know what?
I think.
Let me tell you, there are so many remixes of these songs just by Army or just by people who do music and take this song and mix it with this.
It's not too.
There's so many remixes of their songs that it's ridiculous. Like you can, it's 50, 100, 150. My point is, we have talked about this in our last podcast. How, like we're hungry. Like we've been dying for a new album, and then when we find out there's a new album and it's a compilation album, I really like. Were the 2 years spent just on their remix?
We know that they're writing.
Their mixtapes.
No,
like it had to be. Why are we getting this?
Well, we even saw Yoongi working with Namjoon on something in the suit.
This is something that we would have expected to be released like with a main course, so to speak. Like this is something I would have expected either during the pandemic instead of B, or maybe after they've released a full album. Like this is just not what we expected to be the first
It's an in-between kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is what I would hope that I would. Best case scenario for me would be June is coming quickly, and that's our birthdays, that's our festas, that's our that's our time. June around May, the end of May, June. That's our really family BTS Army time. I would really like best case scenario to be they're putting this out for the purposes of what we do during this BTS season. And then everything that they've actually been working on will be the album that comes out shortly after.
Yeah, they better be pranking us. I gotta say.
Okay, here's the thing. We know for a fact that Tour is coming soon because Yoongi, Namjoon, and Cookie, I think Cookie, have all mentioned that a tour is coming up.
Did they?
Yeah, they've mentioned like
I mean, they say they're gonna be back, but they haven't.
No, not even saying that they're gonna be back. I think
they've used the word too. Yes, they've used the word too.
too.
However, they called, and I mentioned this to you guys before. Every time they say tour, they're referring to LA, Korea, and Las Vegas. They called that a tour.
Whenever they say they're excited,
they did call that a tour. Especially when Namjoon said it, he was referring to that.
So any level of stage, yeah.
When Mimi was talking about, she said, we've been saying for so long we want... Oh, this is what it made me think of. We've also been saying for a long time that now that they have the eyes and the ears of the U.S. stage and U.S. celebrities and U.S. audience, and actually the world over, that only individuals that care to dig deeper would actually know the actual talent that comes from these guys. That it is not a dynamite butter PTD talent. It is completely, it's a whole genre of lots of things. We've always said that. Well, this is going to be put out now, which is a collection of their discography, and it will be laid out for individuals who we've been saying, like, they don't know. They are going to purchase, they're going to listen to what the guys are putting out right now, and it is a collection of things that we really have been wanting them to know.
Now that you've mentioned it, that's exactly what they're doing, I think.
Maybe.
Because this would be the opportune moment. But
yeah, it would be the opportune moment because they're at the peak.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to say that because it would be great if we have 4 or 5 more peaks.
Yeah.
But they are at the height worldwide and are seen as icons and are seen as living legends. And nobody can dispute that about the accomplishments.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Like for Army it's different.
For Army it's different. Yeah, for Army it's different.
It's completely different. Like, I want new music. That is the connection that we share. Like, it's
But as Army, we've also shared a huge connection of we want those people. We want our people at work. We want our people that, know us and our family to actually be able to, you don't want to give Sabrina the example of just what's been put out. You want her to be able to see the example, because if this album comes out and they do a music video, a remix music video, it's gonna get some play because they're in that position now. It's going to get play where it wouldn't have gotten play. You know, anything from Too Cool for School or anything from Dark and Wild wouldn't have gotten played before.
Yeah, so walking to speculation territory, now that you mentioned that, I actually also believe that that's probably what they're doing, like strategically. Yeah. I think also that we can probably assume that one of the new songs is going to get a music video. So I'm probably going to expect the, Proof to come out. Then a music video, probably with one of the collabs. It's going to get a lot of attention. They're going to bring in people to look at Proof and listen to their old songs. And that's great. But like we've been saying this whole time, like, this better not be the only thing, so to speak. Like, I don't want to sound spoiled. I really don't want to sound spoiled.
No, it's okay. It's okay that you sound spoiled.
Totally okay.
Because we are spoiled. We were brought up that way. That's not our fault. We're spoiled. And I'm proud of it.
Oh, I think the word you're looking for is unappreciative.
Yes, I don't want to seem ungrateful or unappreciative. And of course I want, exactly like you said, Juana, I want the world to see everything they've done. And yes, like, Proof will be a very easy, accessible way for them to do it. But I really hope that it's not, like, quote, the album we are waiting for this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hope the best case scenario for me in my head would be, okay, so after this, we waited for the pandemic. We waited for the PTD era to be done. So after this, what you got for us, guys? What you got?
And I'm talking, like, it better be within this year as well.
Yeah.
Like, Proof better come out, and we better wait max 2 months, and I better get a whole new album.
But it does make me question whether or not, now I have my doubts about a tour. I really do have my doubts.
I 100% have my doubts about
a tour.
Yes.
Because, I have my doubts about a tour.
I mean, Bawana mentioned in the car right before we did this podcast that if they did a concert just based on all of their, like, hits, none of us would not be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah,
just
of
wouldn't.
course.
But golly, when you have 7 talented men who are just all gifted, like
I don't think they're going to do that because of all the tours they've had so far, including the most recent Permission to Dance stages, they had a concept with it.
right.
Without a full new album, they will not have a concept on which to build the tour, which I just know from their process, the way they do things, they need a concept to do it.
Well,
so I think that's where the doubt is.
Maybe the concept. Proof literally means we're bulletproof, and here's the proof that we are bulletproof. Let me show you our anthology. This is the proof that we are bulletproof.
Well, yeah, I took it as we are bulletproof. Here's the proof of our wide variety of music. Like, we started off as a hip hop R&B group, and this is where we evolved to.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the idea. It's just the timing. I think the timing is what we are.
I'm gonna tell you right
about.
now. I don't agree with Bawana's theory of this is, what they put together and for new people, because everybody that BTS, at least that I know of, has been introduced by somebody else. And that person always takes them, even the ones that we see on YouTube. Army takes them down that road. Like,
actually, it's not it wasn't a theory I was giving. I was just saying that it's something we've always said 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
We wish other people
but you said maybe this is why they did it that way. To me, that's a theory.
I don't,
because we don't know why they're doing that.
No, when I said about we've always wanted other people to actually have the exposure to all of their, I wasn't saying maybe this is why they did it. This is why they did it part.
So
that's what I've heard from that.
Yeah,
this is
because to me that's not for me. When I said it wasn't a theory of mine. It was I've been saying all this time, I want the world to see all of what they had to offer, and this is a good way.
My point is, most people who are introduced to BTS, Army sends them down that road. Like, Army guides them, and so it's. I don't know.
we
I just
mentioned
felt like
before-
I felt like I was on cloud. I don't know. I'm just frustrated.
But like Sarah was going to say, go ahead.
We mentioned before though that with this new wave from their whole era trying to break into the U.S. mainstream, and they are in the mainstream now, that crowd is, for better or worse, separate from core ARMY, so to speak. So I think that this Proof album is not really meant for core ARMY, but it's meant to kind of be like a gateway for that new mainstream crowd that they've captured.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it's meant for, but
why the
I
hell
know
is it always about this new mainstream?
Yes, exactly.
It's like, we are ARMY. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's why she said for ARMY that's not settling. For us, it's if this is what they're reaching for, if this is why the anthology is being put out, that is great. That is wonderful, because you have 90 million strong that you need to cater to, and so forth and so on, and what have you. However, for ARMY, like there's two different armies. There's different kind of armies. We are starving, and we've been starving. So that's not. It's kind of like when Jen said they did that that Zoom fan meet.
Yeah.
And it was like 50 people this night, 50 people this night, 50 people this night. And he was
that
like,
was
that was
crazy.
nice. That was
Well,
great.
that
We
is a
enjoyed
great
it.
Did we not?
He literally said,
But
but
did
it
we
was
not?
it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. He felt still hungry, like it was an
Did
appetizer.
we say
and it
that
wasn't
they
enough.
should do that years ago, or a long time ago? We said that. Anyway, it's just amazing how some of the things we say come to fruition.
That's a very good comparison to the different songs that they've been putting out. Like, it's a little bit here that's not even a big thing. There's a little bit here it's not even a big thing, like Butter, Boy With Love, and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison
I
to how I'm feeling about all this stuff.
Yeah, because I can't speak for anybody else, but their music is my connection to them. Not just my connection to them because I like them and love them as individuals, but music is a huge part of my connection with them. And it's been 2 years. I keep saying 2 years, but of course they gave us B. But
that's the thing. Like, I think that we would feel differently if this was, like I said, with timing. This was much earlier, say during the pandemic or just much earlier.
Yeah,
but it's
make
like
it a
at
year or
this
something.
specific point, we're at the end of our
Concert
rope.
season?
Okay, so here's another. As y'all talk, things pop in my head. What if, and we absolutely know beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Dynamite, PTD, and Butter era was not their idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it was there when it was brought to them. What did he say, Zoe? They had a conversation, and they agreed to go ahead and do what was best for everybody involved, best for the company, best for So that's how this entire era came about. This was not their idea. Now, when it was brought to them, the premise of Dynamite was, this is how we're going to put it out. We're going to put it out as we want to give sunshine
And it was supposed to
in the
stop at
in the time of pandemic. So what if, prior to them having to make this adjustment, this compromise, they were going to do this anthology anyway.
Right.
And it had to be put on the back burner.
it's too early for anthology. It'd be different if this is their 50-year anniversary. Or let's even back up. If there was their 25th anniversary. Like, I get your greatest hits. I get it. They're too young for anthology. They ain't been around long enough. I don't agree with this compilation album. I just don't.
And
Yeah,
see, I'm
and
the opposite. I don't
good.
feel like it's too early for an anthology for them, because their discography, their anthology, covers so many different genres, and they have reached so much of a height in their career that, honestly, I say I would like to have other peaks. I would like to have many more other peaks, but my God, they're in the stratosphere. ARMY is in the stratosphere. We are unprecedented, even in the history of music. They're compared to Michael Jackson. They're compared to the Beatles. They're compared to none of them. It didn't matter how much greatness they had and still have, even though they're gone. They didn't have what we have now. They did not have what ARMY and BTS has accomplished worldwide, that reached way past music, reached way past art. It changed everything from politics to lives to I mean, it was just, and no MJ fandom can say that. No Beatles fandom can say that, so forth and so on. So they've accomplished something that is just astronomical. We have. So honestly, I feel like whatever compilation you want to do at this time, it's warranted because we have reached that greatness. However, I'm starving. The timing, like you keep saying,
timing.
Timing.
I actually went back because I had someone who asked me how many albums BTS actually has, and I realized I didn't know off the top of my head, so I went back and counted. Leaving out their singles and Japanese albums, the core number is 16.
Yep.
They have 16
They have
freaking
such a
albums.
huge discography.
So I agree that I'm not saying that I personally do not disagree with a anthology album, but timing. Why are you releasing it now?
When we're starving.
When we're starving, ARMY is going to be angry about it or disappointed. We're not going to be in a good position to welcome it. It, so to speak, what's a good comparison? It's kind of like if you've been starving a pet or something. For some reason, you've been starving this pet because you weren't able to have the means to provide to them or something like that. And instead of giving them like a proper meal, right? Instead of giving them a proper meal for the first time in years since you've been able to feed this pet properly, you've just been giving them scraps. Instead of a proper meal with, the meat and everything that you need to feel
full. It's going to give them the nutrients that they need.
Yes. You're just like, I got you this bone.
Yeah.
Here's this bone.
They're going to be appreciative. They're going to be gnawing down on it.
Yeah, thanks for the bone.
Because that's all
I'm
you
still
gave
really hungry, though. I'm
It's
still
It's not
starving.
going to give them
I'm
the
malnourished.
vitamins, the nutrients, the everything they need to
Yes.
bulk back up.
Which goes back to what have they been doing for 2 years? And
No,
that I know
oh.
they've been writing, and I know they've created new music. Why is it not on this album?
Yep.
We haven't even gotten like the individual members' mixtapes during this
That's
time.
what I'm wondering. Is that what they were doing for the 2 years, working on their mixtapes?
I know that at least V has confirmed from his own mouth. It was like on a post. He has confirmed that he is going to release his mixtape this year. I don't know about everyone else. I know V for sure. So I do wonder that they're releasing this proof because maybe the rest of the members plan to put out their
Or they were
certain
just
days.
so busy
Stuff.
doing the commercials and all of that stuff.
Well, no, you
Yeah.
know,
They've
well,
definitely
they've been
working.
writing. They've been working. They've been writing. Now I will give you one theory of mine, which is the one about whether or not this was pre-planned and then they had to do the PTD era. That just popped in my head as we were talking. But probably the next day after we learned this, I thought to myself, surely they've got something more. Surely they've got something else they want to give us. Why are they not? Then it hit me, what if it's because they already know? They know things before us. What if it's because they already know they're going to have to go off one by one into the military or all together into the military?
maybe there's something we're
What
missing.
if they already know that? And
Right.
why are we going to give them a brand new everything and we're going to have to go? And then, so I don't know.
And maybe they're
one
holding
theory
it.
of
Yeah,
mine.
but bouncing
Yeah.
off your theory, if that were the case, what if they're also just holding it until they know for sure about the military? Because
But that's
you
what I'm saying.
did
They
say-
may know. They may already know
Wouldn't
before
it-
us.
Wouldn't it make sense to do the anthology while they're taking a break because they're going off? Like
That's what I just said.
Okay, but they would be releasing it on June 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that releasing it whenever they're already gone?
What? I don't mean leaving right now. I mean they may already know that they're going to, because they can make once a decision has been made, they can, I would think, make the decision. Are we going to do this 1 by 1, 2 by 2? Are we going to do this all
Yeah,
together?
no, I'm saying that they wouldn't. If that was the case, then they wouldn't release it June 10th. They would release it in the middle of we're missing people. We need something. They'll give us the anthology then, not at June 10th.
They can't release new music while they're in the military.
You
I
can't.
thought.
Which is
You
why
can't.
the anthology, right?
But there's 3 new songs on that anthology.
But this is prior to. This is just my theory. I'm saying
I
that
know,
they may
I'm
be doing it
simply
now
saying-
because they know an answer, or in case they may not know, but in case they're going to be giving us an answer shortly. Let's
We
release what
did
we
say
were
last
going to.
podcast that their agency did demand an answer.
They did.
So
They
like
did
you
demand
said,
an answer.
if that is the case, they might just be holding everything else.
Yeah,
To
I
waiting
think
for the decision.
it's just a lot for me.
It's a lot.
and it makes.
Because
It's a lot.
it was a lot for me to deal with that butter error. It was a lot. It was a lot for me to deal
was
with that
hard.
because it was
That's
to
right.
me
We weren't
wasn't
just starving.
authentic representation of their
Yeah.
true skill and ability. And then you suffer through that, you get through that, you support it, even though it's not your favorite thing, because you know something better has to be coming.
Yeah.
Then they tell you something's coming, so you're like, "Yay, something's coming!" And And it's like you got to suffer again.
But you
like,
know what? Right before the Grammys, right after whatever. I know for sure said it. I can't remember. Maybe Hobie, June kept saying every now and again, guys, just keep sticking with us just a little longer. Just keep sticking with us. Just keep.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I was doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They know it's hard, and I'm guaranteed, guys, they know stuff before we do. Y'all know that. We've already talked about that. They know. They may know something's coming. Something's going to be different. And we gotta do it strategically. And they've been asking, please just stick with us, please just stay with us, please just,
now, don't anybody who's listening, don't misunderstand. I ain't going nowhere. But like I said, for me, and I'm only speaking for me, music is one of my huge connections to them, and I'm just frustrated. So this is me speaking out of frustration.
And guys, one of the reasons why we are so comfortable voicing our opinions, even if they might be controversial, even if they sound like without out of context, like we're not being supportive of the boys, it's because we actually find we support them so much that we find it doesn't even need to be said that we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, all of our theories aside, if this happens to be the worst case scenario, we still are going to stick around.
Right.
But that's why we're so comfortable talking about, if we are disappointed, which we are.
Yeah.
And, on top of that, we have been operating kind of in the dark. Like you've known from our previous podcasts and our speculations, this is all we have, unfortunately, because, whether it's the boys' fault or the agency's fault or whatever, they haven't been able to tell us anything. They've just told us about this album. We don't even know what's on it yet. We don't know why they're releasing it now. We don't know what their plans are later. So again, we're not trying to be ungrateful or unappreciative, but you have to understand that when we're just grasping in the dark here, and these are the bits and pieces they're giving us, all we can do is go by the bits and pieces we're giving us.
Exactly.
We have no idea if there's going to be more stuff coming, if they're going to surprise us with something else. I do have faith in the boys overall.
Of course.
I just don't know what is happening right now.
What's going on?
Now, you're going to have some armies that are just extremely excited about this album, and they're all for it, and they're going to purchase it, and the armies are going to purchase regardless. That's what me and Mimi were talking about earlier. They're going to purchase. That's why the guys' album sales stay like they stay. They're going to stream, because that's why they're streaming stay like they stay, because this is what Army does. This is who you are when you are Army. But there are armies that are going to be all across the board. They're going to be armies that there is no problem. There's no reason, like you said, we should not be able to say we're not ungrateful. However, we are still hungry.
Right.
We are not fulfilled. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. There's all of the songs in one place, and the world is going to hear it and have it at their fingertips. But me, Bawana, Army, a.k.a.
Army.
This is not what we expected.
Yeah, it's not what we expected. Oh my God. When I saw Proof and Bulletproof.
That's what I was saying at the beginning of our podcast. I really do feel like they let us on. Like, whether or not they did it consciously while they were doing it, hindsight is 20/20 for everything.
It feels like whenever the butter first came out, and we had that YouTube video of the butter melting, and we're like, oh my God, what's it going to reveal? Oh my God, what's going to happen? And it was literally watching butter melt. And then butter is that's what it feels like. You're building this anticipation, like, oh my God, what is it going to be? What's going to happen? When is it going to happen? What's it going to be on it? And then butter, like, oh.
This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not worried about feeling ungrateful. I'm not worried about feeling ungrateful at all, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to push BTS or push Army or push our success or our fandom just for the sake of doing it.
Yes.
If I'm not comfortable in it, if I'm not comfortable with what's going on, and if you've listened to our podcast before, if we get uncomfortable, we speak about it.
Heck yeah.
So I don't feel unappreciative. I don't feel any kind of, I'm not trying to feel unappreciative. I feel very, like you said, safe to actually speak about it in this.
Regardless, I have, an indisclosable amount of money saved for spending on BTS, regardless. But I think even more so, that's why we have such strong feelings about it. Like, I saved my hard-earned money to spend on these boys, and I've known for years what I'm spending my money on.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know what I'm spending my money on.
I don't know. Exactly. I don't know. And that's another thing. We talked about we started talking about the agency monetizing things out the ass. It's months and months and months ago. You don't want to look at this as a money grabbing album that you're putting out, but I guarantee you somebody's gonna say it. Somebody's gonna say
I mean, it does at least partially feel like, I'm not saying this could be the only reason, but I'm also saying this could be part of the reason. As with the pattern they've already established, it does feel like the agencies is trying to milk whatever they can for whatever it's got.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what other people do.
Yeah.
Other people put shit out there that's just redundant, and then I'm gonna throw you this scrap right in the middle of it.
I don't know.
Which, you know, 3 new songs, that's not scrap. That's not what I'm saying. But other people do that. Other people are redundant. And that's not, we're not. That's not what we're used to. So for whatever reason they're doing it, let's get it done. Get it over with.
I mean, I think that, like, this is, again, we said before that when we were reviewing when the boys are going to renew their contract next, we said over the next couple years until 2024, you know, like, every little thing is going to be hugely monumental to, like, where we're going as a whole. And I think that this is one of those moments where we're just going to have to wait and see what it is once it comes out.
And, when it comes out, wouldn't it be great to sit around and be like, oh my God,
yes,
this album was, oh my God, the remix of this.
Yes,
oh my
I would
God,
love to be surprised.
The new song, this, I would love to. And I anticipate that. I really hope that's how we are.
What if they're tricking us? How, now go with me here, because none of this might not make sense. But we had Boy with Love.
Boy with Love.
And then we had Boy in Love. Right? So what if we have Born Singer, and then we have Born
to
Performance or Born to Sing? You know, like, what if they're playing with this? What if
I'm saying that they could be
and there's a
pranking
play
us
on the songs, and it's
a play on
or-
which they're
Aren't they
good for.
optimistic,
Save
y'all?
Me.
They so optimistic.
or like Save Me and I'm Fine. You know, like it's
We still don't know what that We and Me was.
I love that. Save Me, and then the
'cause we
next
still
song
don't
to
know,
that is
remember?
I'm Fine.
Namjoon and
love
Hobie
that.
did the We and Me. We still don't know what that We and Me was.
Well,
We don't know
some
what that
people
We
were
and Me
saying
was.
that it was just supposed to be the beginning of We Are Bulletproof.
Oh.
We and Me?
Because, like,
well, it
the-
started
We
off
are
as me,
bulletproof.
started off
but
as me,
flip it, it's we.
is We Are Bulletproof.
As far as ARMY and BTS is concerned, I understand. I get the concept of me and we, but I thought maybe it was going to tie into actually something like Save Me and I'm Fine.
We don't know yet. We don't know.
That's what I'm. That's what
we're
I'm
still in
saying.
speculation stage.
I am not too proud to be like I was wrong.
Yeah,
This
we would
album
love to
was
come
the
back and say
Yes,
SHIT.
I
am
mean,
not
y'all know
too
that
proud
as
to
soon as
say
this
that.
will be released, we're going to be
Yes.
getting together and making another podcast.
Yes.
But I think that's even more important why we should be as honest as we possibly
Yes,
can in the
absolutely.
moment. Because it's also fun to go back and compare, you know?
I mean, we can go back and I mentioned this before.
Compare what?
When we did our reaction video to
Oh.
B, I mean, that was a hard time.
It was a hard time for
It was
me.
a
I
hard
know.
time.
That was a hard. But I mean, when B plays, when some of those songs play, it's very nostalgic to me now. Those songs really have stuck with me. But initially, we were just like, I'm not going to keep going there. But
Right.
my biggest disappointment with this, we all know what Mimi's biggest disappointment is. My biggest disappointment with this is because I am tour ready, and this makes me wonder if we're gonna get one. Had this been a brand new, all new album, I would have no doubts. Oh my God,
We was
I need a
telling y'all
second job. But,
we was telling y'all last podcast to save your pennies. You can keep
Yeah.
your pennies.
Well, no. Okay, so that brings up one little point, which I mean may not be helpful in the future. We need to go ahead and forewarn armies that just because we're speculating this doesn't mean
that's what's gonna happen.
that's what's gonna happen. Because who knows? We might get a tour, and you were like, "Oh, well, we weren't expecting a tour because you said this is not," and all of a sudden, it's Save Me and I'm Fine kind of situation, and we are getting a tour. And I
Y'all
got
know
no
we're
money.
living in a clown world. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so save your pennies for sure, just in case. You never know.
Hell yeah. But the biggest disappointment for me was going from knowing for sure we're gonna get a tour to now I ain't sure.
We were trying to make plans with
Already.
with the rest of the year,
Yeah.
trying to figure out our travel plans and everything.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it today. I was telling them before we got on this podcast that as soon as I saw that teaser trailer, I mean, I wasn't necessarily smiling at it. I was just thinking all week about, you know, I mean, we've been waiting so long. I have been listening to Map of the Soul era on repeat
It makes me so
for
good.
years. They're still good too.
I've been
So
listening to the Love Yourself era, the 3 songs. I mean, that. But even going further back, guys, Red Bullet.
Are You Late?
I didn't, you know,
Oh,
yes,
yes,
those.
Are You Late?
If we got some of that shit in concert, oh my God, I would. To have those early days in concert,
Like, it
and to
shocks
see it
me
with
when
my
we
own
saw Save
eyeballs,
Me.
I would love to actually see that. Of course, I've always wished that and wanted that, but I wanted it thrown in to new stuff, thrown into while I'm at a concert. They're just gonna throw this mix in. Oh my God!
Dang, if we see Dang.
We would pass out.
But here's the other thing. So
I
our
would
last podcast, which was not that long ago, because we were speculating and so excited about this album. But our last podcast, I said, I hope this is not a compilation of songs from the past eras. And we were like, sure it ain't. Of course, that's what it ended up being.
This is not what we
But
expected.
then now my statement is going to be, I hope they pick the right song. Pick the right song.
It better be their greatest hits. I mean, what else would you put?
The first few albums were amazing, but there were some definite songs that stuck out in them that are just hardcore for Army. So I'm hoping now if you're gonna pick from every era, pick the right songs from every era.
The right songs. Don't be an idiot.
With my optimistic side, I will say I am very hard pressed to fully think that the boys would actually release an album that is just copy and paste the same goddamn audio file from the previous album.
Yeah.
I'm hard pressed to truly believe that that's something they would do. I don't know at the end of the day. So I will remain optimistic that hopefully there's going to be some kind of twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, maybe they bring in some new voices. Maybe they remake a song. Or like Zoe said, best case, maybe they just continue a bunch of, you know, their little sequel thingies.
Like,
Flipsies.
Flipsies.
I like that. Yeah,
That's
we
what
want
we're
some
gonna call
flipsies.
them.
I'm
That would
down
be
for that.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be happy with that, you know. And at the end of the day, it's good to get all of this frustration out now, so that if we are completely wrong, which God willing, we are completely wrong, we get this new album and we just go, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yes. It's great. Yeah.
We want to, guys, you don't even understand. Like, we be like glued to the TV, screaming, passing out, come back to watch it again. Like, this is what we
videos too.
I miss that. I miss that. Because they were just constantly giving us.
I mean, we've got 3 new songs, and we better get some. The music videos
We are getting definitely at least one music video.
But you're
Ooh,
right.
a video
I
with
don't
Snoop
too
would
much
be
care
great.
for the remixes. It just don't. I agree with you, Bawana. The Aoki remix was the BOMB, but the other ones, yeah, I agree. They're not like, they don't enhance it at all.
I think it's because we grew up with those songs. It just became anthems. They became anthems within themselves, and when you fuck that up, you throw us off a little bit.
It's kind of like when people over remix the national anthem when they're singing it, and they change like the entire song. I'm
It's
like,
like we
Yeah,
still
like, wait a minute,
this
you were
flow
supposed
of
to
it.
go high and you went low.
Yeah,
just sing the anthem, dude.
Well,
Like,
to me, they just don't enhance it.
yes, it doesn't enhance
If it enhances the song and we like, God dang, then hey, do what you do. But a lot of these remixes, it don't enhance the song.
It doesn't.
And I found myself listening to the original.
Yeah, a lot, exactly, because that's what held true for us. Those
Yeah.
became anthems for us. So yeah, we'll see.
Except for the fan remixes. I'm sorry, some of them fan remixes.
Oh yeah, those are fire.
They fire. They absolute fire. And it's like, how the fans do anyway.
Army is extremely talented.
They are very talented. Oh my God, they're talented.
Yeah, well, closing thoughts on Proof. At least before release, we are about a month before release. Just for
That's
context.
Mimi's closing thought. Proof.
Yeah, prove me wrong.
Give us proof that you're going back to the beginning.
Oh, that's a good one. Use proof in yours.
Yeah, I can't do that. You can't just
I
give me a
can't.
solid.
Yeah.
I am not Jimin and Jungkook.
You are.
I
want their albums to stay. I want their new albums to be.
to be bulletproof.
There you go, girl.
That's not my final thought.
Great job.
I had a final thought and it just flew out my head.
Sorry, that's my fault.
This is proof that this has made me speechless.
There you go. Now, Sarah.
Oh, well, you just said like 4 of them for Wano.
Do a Korean poem with proof.
Huh?
Do a Korean poem with proof.
What the
Really,
heck?
Mimi? What are you doing?
I don't know where she's coming from.
Perfection. R. Revision. O. Oh, hell no.
Okay.
It's 2 O's in proof, right?
Optimism.
O. Optimism. And F.
Fuck this.
And on
In the words of Nam June.